Hello, and welcome to Fusion Writing, where building character meets creating structure. This is a new month of the year, January. We have a new character trait and a new topic that Victoria is talking about. I can't wait to hear all about it. So take it away, Victoria.
Okay, so the 5 C's of story. As you know, as we've talked about many times, the two primary drivers for a story are either a character-driven story, which focuses heavily on the development emotionally, intellectually, morally of a particular character or set of characters, and the conflict-driven story, which is more what we think about like our action-paced stories, the ones that just are really driven by those little things where it's a cliffhanger and it's a conflict and you're turning pages to find out what happens. So let's begin with a character-driven story. How do you break that down? Sometimes people will go to great lengths to try and figure out, what is this character thinking? How do I show them changing? This stuff can get really confusing, especially when you're just freewheeling your way through a rough draft. So let's break it down into the 5 components. To begin with, you need something that starts the story. Let's call the first C a catalyst. You need something that sets that character in motion. So if we're talking about a story that's character driven, it's specific to the state that that person is currently in. Now, what might that start sounding like? Sounds like character trait territory to me. So as Kathleen is walking you through, particularly using things like obedience, which is a nice juicy one, think about how some aspect of a trait could be a driver that provides a catalyst for your character in your story. So once you have a sense of what sets them in motion, what's really going to kick things off for them having some kind of a decision or a conflict that they need to work through as a character. The second C is challenges. That's how you're forcing them to go down that road of becoming one kind of character versus another kind. What kind of challenges are you going to give them if it's a character-driven story? Those challenges are going to be internal, right? It's not bombs blowing up. It's not people chasing you. It's not cliffhangers and crazy stuff. It's something internal. So again, that's where you're really leaning into those traits to determine what is going to drive this character. What choice are they going to have to make between, say, being meek or not, obedience or not? How is that going to affect how they move through the world and thereby move through the story? Those are simple things that you can just sketch out. And here I will give you a little plug to listen when Kathleen talks about our challenge for this month. Because something we're doing to build on my experience collection challenge is we're collecting character traits. And that, my friend, is gold. Because when you start thinking about how am I going to show this trait, how am I going to show an aspect of this character, and then challenge them to have to grapple with it and make a decision that sends them in one way or another, that's just looking at a trait and how you push them and how they react to it. It's all action and reaction. And that's the key to driving a character. That's the key to driving a story using a character. It's action and reaction based on what they're grappling with internally. So what's the third C? It's that very thing. It's their emotional arc and it's their development arc. So an emotional arc specifically tracks what emotions are they grappling with and how are they making choices that either maximize or minimize those emotions. And a developmental arc is the same thing. What are they doing to develop their progress through the story? If they make a choice to lean into this love interest and to really get giddy about how they feel, that's going to negate this love interest. Thereby, they've made a choice, and that choice drives the story. That's up to you to decide as the writer, but really start to get in that character's head and think about what are they grappling with and how is that pushing them forward. The fourth C is just that thing. It's the character's evolution or their transformation. So an evolution goes in one straight line. One choice leads to another outcome, leads to another choice, leads to another outcome. It's just a straight line forward to the end of the story. A transformation, think of it as a y-axis. A transformation means they're going in this direction because of their emotional, their intellectual choices, and all of a sudden They make a choice about a trait or an emotion, an intuition that sends them in this direction. And they transform into a different kind of person. Maybe you have someone who fundamentally sees the world in a negative way. They are always, I made a note, they're always leaning into the darkness of a situation. What happens if, as a result of a trait change, perhaps leaning into that love interest, they meet someone who shows them a different way of looking at the world, and thereby they change from that negative aspect into a more positive outlook aspect. And that's the end of the story. That's their transformation into this different kind of character. That's just one example out of a million. I'm sure you guys can come up with a bunch more. But just think about, do you want them to evolve on a straight line? Or do you want them to transform into something completely different? That's super exciting to think about, because once you start thinking about those choices they start making, every action has a reaction, and that drives your story. And then, of course, the final C, the fifth C, is the conclusion. Where did they end up at? And that's just a simple matter of where did they begin as a character and where did they end up at? Always land your reader with a solid conclusion, whether it's an evolution or a transformation. Land that reader so that you ground them at the end of the story. Now, I will give you a sixth bonus one, and it's not a C, it's a T, and that's theme. We'll talk more about that next time when we talk about a conflict-driven story, but just remember there's the 5 C's of catalyst, challenges, character emotion, character evolution, and conclusion, and the thing that undergirds all of those is the theme. That's the big issue that you want your reader to understand you're speaking to. So I'm going to leave you there for now because I know Kathleen's got lots of cool stuff. So Kathleen?
Okay, thank you, Victoria. What a great way of thinking about characters. See, now that's why I love working with Victoria, because I'm going to teach you about all of these individual character traits and how they show up in a person's life, and Victoria will help you weave it into your story and how then to combine it, remember, with mood and time and distance and all of the other wonderful writerly elements that she brings to us so well. So we're going to add another character trait to our collection this month, and this is the empathy trait of obedience. Now, obedience seems like a strange one. It's it's a little bit maybe old-fashioned in a way because we don't think of it as much as being neutral. There's almost a negativity that descends around the concept of obedience nowadays that maybe it didn't have in the past. I don't really know. But when we get down to the struggle, what is the struggle of obedience? The struggle of obedience is a situation where you've been given, or your character's been given, what amounts to an order from someone who is in an authority position to make that order. It's a one-to-one relationship. The boss has said to do this, or the parents have told the child to do this, or the drill sergeant has told the recruit to do this. There is a demand that's being placed by someone who has an authority. And then the struggle is obey or disobey. So that is a rather interesting one when you think about, well, if it's obey or disobey, how does that even fit on a character profile? We'll talk about the character profile positions next week. We're talking about this week about what the character trait itself means. But there's another way of thinking about it, that it takes a lot of the tension away and it takes a lot of the unequal status away. Certainly obedience, there are places and times where you must obey. The police officer says get out of the car and you get out of the car. They're just that's a given, and it doesn't seem to have a whole lot of variability in it. But there's another way of thinking of obedience, and that is obedience given. And that shows up in the principle of teamwork. Teamwork. And actually, teamwork, and when you think about it, can be used with those unequal situations as well. But let's take a look at something where you're working on a project with other people. Somebody's going to have to be in charge. Maybe a different person will be in charge at a different time, but right now, somebody's in charge. And when he suggests that the team do something as a unit, members of the team have to get in gear and do it, or the project isn't going to go very well. So a lot of what was really the struggle that's happening inside of obedience, when you think about it, is being able to voluntarily say, okay, I'm going to set aside my will for a moment and go along with the will of another person. I'm going to be cooperative with their vision and where they're headed. And I'm willing to step back for a moment. Hard to do in a society that says we're all individuals and everybody's equal, which I absolutely believe is true. But sometimes we have to express that by stepping back a little bit, being calm about it, and being a good member of a team. And so that's where you can get a dynamic built in for your character. How well are they going to cooperate? Now let's think about our classic cases of obedience. Mother says, you will do this. The child, if you think about it as teamwork, maybe the mother could phrase it a little differently and say, well, from all the members of the same family, and if our family is going to work well, we've all got to pitch in and do our share. Nobody in the family can do everything, and our family will function so much better if we function as a team. So I really need you to do XYZ for me. And so that's an example of teamwork there. Even in the military, where there's a clear hierarchy, there's ranks and orders. The person getting the order can speak to themselves and say, I am a member of the team that's doing this thing, and this is my job right now. And I think that teamwork puts a much more positive spin on the whole concept of what's really going on in obedience, which is when sometimes you have to make the choice to set your will under the will of another so that hopefully something good can be accomplished. Now we have to separate it from another character trait that we studied just a couple of months ago, and that is respect. Because respect is such a powerful character trait. The minute disrespect enters a scene, it takes over. It takes over the whole darn scene. You could have a clown plopping through and clown shoes and a red nose, and nobody will notice him walk through the scene because you're riveted on these two characters that are dueling it out with who's going to, mutual disrespect. So you have to be careful of that, because if you really want to write about obedience, respect has to be placed outside of the picture. And sometimes that's a little bit difficult to do. So just bear that in mind. Well, next week, we're going to talk about all the different positions on the character profile diagram and how obedience shows up differently in the different positions. But right now, what I want to go over with you is our January challenge. Now, you all know that in November, Victoria gave us a marvelous experience collection challenge. I sure had fun with it. I hope you did. I produced a number of cards and even had a little book to put them in. And now Victoria is beginning to have a workshop for us for how we're going to be able to use those cards to actually get our story going. Well, to go along with that challenge, I am giving a challenge on the character traits. So it's just like the experience collection, but what your experience is going to be something that illustrates one of the character traits. Well, you need a handy reference sheet for those character traits if you're going to be able to do that. And we have one over in LiLLiPub. You can download a handout that has all 28 character traits, and they're grouped by the character trait group, so you can see all of the different character traits. And what's really fantastic about this coverage of the character traits is that each one is a tiny, tiny, short little paragraph. And it just grabs that character trait and gives you the essence of that character trait in just a few words. So it's a great way to come to know all of the character traits. Because if you think about it, there's 28 of them and we're covering one a month. Oh, guess what? We're talking more than 2 years to get them all. 2 years. I hope you'll stay with us 2 years. We're past a year, of course. You know that, don't you? We're already well into our second year. But this is a chance for you to recoup them all and recoup them all in a short space. Now, the only way to get this, however, is you have to come over to LiLLiPub.org. I looked into being able to make it some kind of a general downloadable, but it just isn't happening in my world right now. There's just way too much coding for me. So you really need to become a member of LiLLiPub.org, but you're going to want to do that anyway to participate in the workshop that Victoria is planning for us with our character trait cards and our other experience collection cards. It's only $8 a month and it's well worth it. And you can join our fusion writing where we'll help you workshop your writing. That's what we do in LiLLiPub is we help you take your dream of writing and make it a reality. We help you get your words down on paper. We help you workshop them. We help you find them. We help build you into the best writer that you can be, because that's our goal. That's why we're here. And for $8 a month, I mean, you can buy expensive writing courses that won't teach you as much as you're going to get for $8 a month in LiLLiPub. So it's time to just throw up your arms and say, okay, I'm joining. Victoria, what would you like to add?
Oh man, it for anybody who's new here, it's kind of ridiculous how nicely our lessons always dovetail together. What did Kathleen just tell you? Think about the character development using the 5 C's of a character-driven story of setting one's will under another. Guys, how many times have we seen or thought of writing a strong-willed loner who learns to become part of a team? That, my friends, is obedience. So you can build these stories so many different ways, and that's the fun of joining us over in our community so that we can kick these ideas around together and help make your story the best that it can be. So come on over to LiLLiPub and join us, and we will hopefully see you there sharing your character trait collection. And we will see you next week when we get back into our second week in the cycle.
Okay, so we'll see you soon. Come on back and come on over to LiLLiPub. We look forward to seeing you over there. Bye-bye.